the difference on when you're learning something and indulging information and learning, the difference between the how and the why. So what I mean about the why is what you're just, oh, do X, Y, and Z. Indulge in teaching something. Let's just say, for example, hey, get fit because there's so much benefits about it, but there's never a how. Like, hey, here's a program, here's the steps, here's a way to get to where you need to go. And if there is, you just really need to pay attention to buzzwords, keywords. So let's say, for example, buying a house as a real estate property, great idea. Here's the why. Okay, you get tax loopholes, you get X, Y, and Z, you get passive income. That's great. How? And I feel like we're living in such an information age that they just really promote the whys and promote that aspect. And when it goes into the hows, either there's a paywall or they're just not giving it. And as for me, I've been better at trying to hit in keywords to know the hows, but I think I want to hear your thought process on how do you differentiate the two, and then how do you start mapping out personally, how do you start mapping out the task items to achieve that?
Yeah, I think we definitely live in the world that, I mean, when I first started doing digital marketing, that was the playbook. You say the what, you say the why, let them pay for the how, right? And I mean, like when I was doing consulting, it's not any different. That's all companies are doing. You're paying consultants to do the how because they're going to tell you what you need to do. But I think breaking it down, where there's a difference right now in a lot of the media is people are starting to unlock the how and give that out for free as well. And so the new value is providing the what, why, and how. And because now that person can get you to a point where you can basically achieve it yourself, like the other person's there for like either verification or like mentorship and next steps or like higher level things that can become potentially more complex. And then that's where you pay and unlock something. So like right now, starting off for, I mean, 90% of like everyone that I know that did real estate investing, Bigger Pockets podcast, right? They go through the what, the why, and the how. Sometimes you have to go through a lot of content in order to get the how, but that's a really good way of kind of like piecing things together. And I mean, ultimately, when you're trying anything new, you have to be okay with making mistakes. Like everyone's first real estate investment deal, you're going to mess up. If you don't mess up, like congratulations, it's going to get you later down the road. But like, I mean, I made a ton of mess ups on my first deal. Like, geez, like I'm talking about tens of thousands of dollars mess ups. But like, what I took out of that? It's not going to happen again. That's for sure. Like, it's an expensive mistake, but it allowed me to take a step forward in order to going down that path. I think that applies to everything. Like in the world that we're seeing things right now is piecing those pieces together, finding those organizations or groups that can actually help you through those paths. Like a really good one for like financial literacy. Ramit Sethi, he does a good job. Earn Your Leisure. They run like a e-learning group, but like mostly they're on YouTube. They talk everything from like investing to businesses to all of that kind of stuff. I think that they're also a great area to find the how. Is that kind of where you were thinking, or did I miss something altogether?
No, I love it. But I want to go a little bit deeper and just fine tooth comb it. How do you know what's the BS versus what is quality? And I think you're really good at doing that.
Okay. So with that, anytime I need to learn something super, super fast, my first go-to is YouTube. I open up, I don't know, 6 to 10 different videos, throw it all on 2x speed. And
You're
what
still
I'm
freak with that, by the way.
You mean I'm gifted? But okay, so what I'm looking for in specific to see like what is the fluff really, like just to build a baseline foundation, is what is the similarity that every single person is saying in terms of like a step. Maybe they did the steps a little bit differently, but like, what is that core thing that they're all saying that's like that's kind of similar, that like almost through consensus you're finding out what the fact is, right? So like people might have different ways of financing a deal, but financing the deal is a step, right? Then you start learning all the different flavors of how to finance a deal. And then, what are the pro cons of them? And then for each of those types of like financing the deal. So I'm talking in real estate. For each of those types of ways to finance, then you start to listen and learn about like what are the pro cons for each one. And then that, through consensus, figure out what that is. That's the very like, I don't have a mentor approach. If you have a mentor and someone that's already kind of gone through it all, then you have a huge leg up being able to, like, here's a great example. Starting an LLC in the state of California, you can hire out, which would be like a rocket lawyer. They'll charge you like $500. You can try to learn it on your own, where you're going to the state of California, like website, and what do I click or what do I have to fill out? All of that kind of stuff. It's going to take time to get through all of that. And you're going to have to read a number of blogs, watch a number of videos, all of these kind of things to piece those steps together. And that's like $75. So the cost is $75 plus your time, energy, and effort to piecing it together. Or like JO, I gave you a 7-step document that literally allowed you to probably do it in how much time?
Like less than a week.
Yeah, and that's with processing of everything, right?
Yeah, with the processing and everything else to get the paperwork, it took a couple months because government works super slow. But to actually get the action items done, it took me less than a week. Honestly, I could, if I really wanted to, if I wasn't lazy in a week, I could have got done in a day.
Yeah, so like realistically, the week was because you were being lazy, and but like straightforward, you could have gotten it done in 24 hours.
Yes, just simply mailing the paperwork to get the start, and then adding the wait times to again get your like article back with your number, then going through the IRS, and overall the process outside of waiting does not take too long.
Yeah, so I think that's the best way of wading through it. Option A, find someone who's done it before. They should have a playbook. Option B, do the homework yourself. Find the commonalities amongst what you're researching. And then option C, outsource it and you're going to pay a premium.
I like that one, tie that back in, just because going back to that private chef, if you don't know, you're going to trade in time, as in cooking meals, or you're going to pay the premium. And if you're starting from the ground up on just say starting a podcast, again, this wasn't my first, so I had an easier like leg up and just kind of knowing this process, but crap, it'll be hard. You have to put in the time and knowing like where to distribute, where to store, where the outlets, and how to get those outlets up and running just for a podcast. And that it took time. And I learned that beforehand so we can do this, but you have to trade in time if you can't afford to outsource it. Again, it's the startup type of culture. Just gotta again go back to the bootstraps and just learn it if you don't have that luxury of outsourcing it out. So that I like that one. That was good.
Yeah, I mean we could have outsourced this.
Oh, we will eventually. We will be.
But for right now, we're putting in sweat equity.
Right now, we'll putting some sweat equity in here just so we know. But overall, yes, I wanted that because again, you hear so much fluff and how we start to differentiate the what is BS and what can I really take out of this. Like out of this 1 hour like talk, even from this, what are these 5 minutes of a nugget that I can start applying to my life? Those are the reasons why, because that's a lot of it.
Yeah, no, completely. And sometimes I think like you and me, we talk about a lot of things we don't know where to go deeper on.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So sometimes like the what, I mean, even like the private chef stuff that we were talking about, like, do we need to go deeper? Like, is the deeper part is like, oh my God, I think a private chef is cool, but like, how do I go about starting that process?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I mean, that thread, he actually does a really good job explaining it, of like where he sourced, where to find them. He went through Craigslist. What's the interview process look like?
So that was a good how type of example.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that is. But like any of the topics we talked about is like, well, I think if the what and the why doesn't capture someone's attention, talking about the how just becomes another like item that could be considered boring, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But on the flip side, actually maybe providing the how creates it as a little bonus for someone that is actually interested in it.
No, I like that. It was a good talk. I like this.
It's a different way of framing it, actually.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start saying hows on every topic that I talk about. So like if we go back to like episode 1 when we're talking about Coachella, I'm gonna be like, okay, so this is Coachella. They started, they lost money, they took a hiatus, they came back, they're making $100 million. But let me tell you how to start your own if you actually want to start your own.
It's just like how McDonald's is not a burger business, it's a real estate business. But how?
Yeah, no, I'm a Chick-fil-A guy, but okay.
A lot of good times at McDonald's.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. McDonald's is the real one. Let's be honest. Except for their new color scheme. Their new color scheme is like so drained out of like any joy.
Oh yeah, I know. It's just so modern. I miss the
It's a gray
uh,
box.
yeah, I miss the old school.
Yeah, like if I'm not walking into a McDonald's with a creepy clown sitting there with his legs half crossed, waiting for me to sit in his arm, like I don't want that big chicken. It's so weird if you say it that way. Okay. Anyways, on that note, thank you for joining us for the past hour. I hope you got some tidbits out of this. Jo, wrap it up.
Oh man, if you got any value, you like this, you like what we said, man, just hit that like button, subscribe, share with a friend, comment, let us know. And yeah, that's my close off. You usually do it better than me. So I
I'm
don't know
giving you
what you're looking
opportunities
for.
here, man.
I blew it.
No, you did. You did wonderful. And on that note, take care, y'all. Where's the exit button on this thing?